Have you ever felt, like you're just reacting, stuck, like you're watching life happen to you, wishing things were different, but you just don't know how to change it? What if? What if your reality is actually more flexible, more responsive than you think? Today, we're doing a deep dive into something called mindful creation of reality. We're pulling some really practical insights from Katie Clarke. Now, Katie Clarke, for those who might not know, is really a leader in thinking about human potential, transformative psychology. Her work gives these actionable ways to shape our lives. So our mission today is to unpack her core idea. To change your reality, your external world, you have to first change your mind, your internal beliefs about what's actually real for you. We'll look at how many of us might be, as she says, kind of sleepwalking, feeling like victims. And then importantly, how to wake up and become the creators of the life we want.
Exactly. And this deep dive, it's really designed as a shortcut, a way to get those practical steps for breaking that cycle. It's about getting the knowledge quickly, thoroughly, without getting bogged down, giving you those aha moments so you can actually start using this stuff.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with the first big idea Clarke talks about, interrupt the loop. It sounds simple, maybe?
Simple but powerful.
Right. It's about consciously, actively questioning your current reality, not just passively accepting it.
And what's fascinating here is why that interruption is so key. See, if you're always noticing what you lack, what's wrong, you're just reinforcing that lack, right? It becomes a self-fulfilling loop. So if you catch yourself thinking, oh, I never have enough time, or, money's always tight, Clarke says, pause. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or just a story I keep telling? That pause, that tiny moment of questioning, it breaks the automatic pattern, opens things up.
That makes total sense. It's like hitting pause on the mental autopilot. So, okay, you interrupt the loop, you question the old story. What's next? Because I imagine for a lot of listeners thinking, my life reflects my internal story. That can feel big, daunting even. Where do you start rewriting?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And Clarke is practical here. Once you've interrupted that loop, the very next step she stresses is actively changing your narrative. And this isn't just slapping on positive affirmations over deep-seated stuff. It's about digging in a bit. It involves maybe tracing back why you believe something limiting, like, I'm not creative. Where did that come from? Acknowledge it. Okay, maybe a teacher said something years ago. Fine. But then you consciously choose, deliberately write a new story. I explore my creativity daily, or I am capable of innovative ideas. You recognize the old script and then you emotionally invest in the new one. You start telling that story instead.
Emotionally invest. I like that. It's not just intellectual. So changing the narrative, that leads naturally into the next piece, right? Which is focus on feelings. This isn't just about the thing you want.
No, not at all. And this is crucial. Clarke points out that what we really desire isn't usually the car or the job title itself. It's the feeling we think that thing will give us. So this raises an important question for you listening right now. How does focusing on actually cultivating that feeling now change things? Can you tap into that feeling, freedom, joy, security, abundance, before the external thing arrives? Because when you do that, when you embody the feeling of, say, peace, even amidst chaos, you're not just pretending. Clarke suggests you're actually shifting your internal state, your physiology, your whole energy. And that changes how you perceive things, what opportunities you even notice. It's like tuning your radio to a different station.
I love that analogy, shifting your frequency. Okay.
Yeah.
So interrupting the loop, changing the story, focusing on the feeling, it all feels like it's building towards taking back control. Is that the next step? Take your power back.
Absolutely. That's the core of it, really. Moving from passenger to driver, it's this critical shift where you start choosing your response.
Yeah.
Clarke isn't saying ignore difficult things, not at all. But she emphasizes that you always have a choice in how you respond internally to external events. Even in tough situations, finding that sliver of agency, deciding, okay, this is happening, but I decide how I feel about it, what I do next. You stop letting external stuff dictate your internal state. That's taking your power back.
Yeah, I heard a saying once, you can't control the waves, but you can learn to surf. Feels like that.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. It's about navigating, not being tossed around, and building right on that sense of agency. Clarke introduces another really interesting idea: embody your ideal self.
Yes, this one. I find this fascinating. How do you actually do that? Start showing up as the person you want to be before you, quote unquote, get there. Doesn't that feel like faking it?
It might seem like that at first glance, but no, it's deeper than faking it. It's about identifying the qualities, the mindset, the energy of the version of you who already has what you desire, the you who embodies those feelings we talked about. And then you start acting from that place now, today, in small ways, in big ways. So if your ideal self is confident, you practice making decisions with more confidence now in your current situation. If they're calm, you consciously cultivate calmness now. It's about aligning your actions with that future self. You're basically practicing being that person, building the neural pathways. Yeah. So when the external reality catches up, it feels natural. You're already there internally.
Okay, aligning actions with the future self. That requires consistency, I bet. But let's be real. This isn't always easy. Fear pops up. Doubt, that feeling of, ugh, this is hard. Which brings us to Clarke's point about needing to be stronger than your emotions. How does she suggest we handle that internal resistance?
Right. Because resistance will come up. That's part of growth. Clarke offers this really powerful insight. The discomfort you feel when you're stretching yourself, facing fear. That discomfort is temporary, but the pain of staying stuck. The pain of untapped potential, of looking back years later with regret because you let fear win. That pain, she argues, is far worse, far heavier in the long run. So it's not about ignoring fear, but understanding it and choosing the discomfort of growth over the deeper pain of stagnation. You have to push through those internal hurdles. It's essential.
Wow, reframing the pain like that, that's quite motivating, actually. And once you start pushing through, making those choices, how do you keep it going? How do you gain momentum, as Clarke puts it? Because starting is often the hardest part.
You're absolutely right. Those initial steps, they take conscious effort. You're working against old patterns, old beliefs. But Clarke explains it's like a snowball. At the top of the hill, you have to push it to get it started. It takes effort. But as it rolls, it picks up more snow, gets bigger, faster, it gains momentum, it becomes easier. It's the same here. As you consistently interrupt the loop, change the narrative, embody that self, it gets easier. Your new way of being becomes more natural. Consistency builds that ease.
That makes sense. The effort shifts over time. And Clarke offers a super practical tip too, right? Something you could do, like right now if you're worrying.
Yes, a very simple, very powerful one.
He says, when you catch yourself worrying, spiraling into negative thoughts, grab a pen, grab your phone, whatever. Write down what you do want to happen instead. And then affirm it. Say it to yourself, out loud if you can. Sounds almost too simple, doesn't it?
It does, but don't underestimate its power. It's so effective because it's immediate action. It directly interrupts that negative loop we talked about right at the start. And by writing and affirming the positive, you're consciously refocusing your mind, reinforcing that new narrative. It's a mini practice of the whole framework right there in the moment.
Okay, so wrapping this all up.
Yeah.
What's the big takeaway for you listening? The core message from Katie Clarke seems incredibly clear.
Yeah.
You genuinely have the power to shape your reality. And it's not magic, it's practical. It's about actively working with your internal world.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, yes, but deeper than that, your beliefs, the stories you tell yourself constantly.
Yeah, this deep dive was really about offering a lens, a way to see your own ability to transform things, to help you realize you're not just subject to circumstances, you're the driver. You have the tools now to navigate, to choose your direction.
So here's a final thought to chew on. If your current reality truly reflects your internal story, what new story could you start telling yourself starting today? Seriously, think about it. What one single belief, maybe one you've held for years, could you consciously decide to question or even unlearn right now? Or what new empowering belief could you choose to embrace starting this very moment? How might that one shift begin to change everything?